Hello, everyone, and welcome to this month's Roundtable. I'm Angelique Minette. I'm your Ishkote Roundtable Commissioner, and my counterpart.
Hi, I'm Esmeralda Bonk, and I am the Roundtable Commissioner for Wapilanaswa. And welcome to December's Roundtable virtually. We need to put a disclaimer. We know we were supposed to do in person, but things happen and we need to be flexible. So we turned this one into a virtual, and don't worry, January's will be in person.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Advance the slide.
And here we go.
Those in uniform, please salute. Those who are not, put your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
On my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country, to obey the Scout law, to help other people at all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight.
A Scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent.
All right, this month's prayer is a Nordic Yule prayer. I felt it was appropriate considering we are in the winter season. So please prepare yourself in the manner you feel most comfortable. Beneath the tree of light and life, a blessing at this season of Yule, to all that sit at my hearth, today we are brothers, we are family, and I drink to your health. Today we do not fight, we bear no one ill will. Today is a day to offer hospitality to all that cross my threshold in the name of the season. Info minute.
Time for info minutes. All the news that you can use for Rainbow Council. So recharter. Recharters should be done. Yes. No, they're not. Ishkote has 48 units. 30 of them are in progress with the recharter, and 14 of you have not started yet. In Wapilanaswa, 37 units, 17 are in progress, and 12 are not started yet. So that's 26 units that haven't started yet. Now, I know some of those units are because they have issues or aren't rechartering or moving charters, and we understand that. But if you are having trouble with your recharter, let us know and we'll give you a hand because they should be done by now. Next slide, please. RSR is initiating a Camp Master Corps. This is something that was talked about before COVID happened and was getting off the ground, but then kind of stalled out because of COVID. A Camp Master is someone who is a registered scouter who is 21 years old, older, and helps out at camp on the weekend so that our ranger can do ranger things and the Camp Master can help coordinate all the camping units that weekend. So those people do things like welcome troops to camp, show them where their campsite is, answer any questions, take care of any concerns, make sure that the cars are parked in the lot and not out at the sites, and perhaps help with some of the projects going on at camp. And they have a lot of fun. These camp masters also get to stay in the yellow house for the weekend. They don't have to camp. They'll have access to a kitchen. They have to bring their own food. But it's a fun job. And if you think you're interested, go to the tinyurl.com/RSR Campmaster for more details. And someone will contact you about training for that and getting started. So if we have enough volunteers, you should only have to do it once or twice a year. Next slide, please. Arctic Blast is coming up for Cub Scouts. Arctic Blast is a lot of fun. Activities include everything from fire building to cooking to STEM to indoor to outdoor, a little bit of everything. It's a lot of fun. It's for Cub Scouts and the registration closes on the 12th and it's starts on it's one day on the 14th, both indoors and outdoors. It's $15 for youth and their siblings and no cost for adults. Also, if you are a Scouts BSA leader or a venture crew leader, they need your help to make this event happen. The youth and the adults will help run stations, and I've done it before. It's a good day out, and if you get lucky, we get a lot of snow and it's a lot of fun. All right, next slide, please. Klondike is coming up, everybody's favorite for Scouts, BSAs, and venturing crews. This is the camporee where we have the youth have sleds that they take around camp to the different stations and do different challenges. The cooking is in your campsites, and it is January 13th through the 15th. So it's the same weekend as the Cub Scout event, but this one is an overnight for the 2 nights. It is $25 for youth and $10 for the adults, and the registration closes for this one on January 1st, which is a lot sooner than the other one. So if you're interested in Klondike, make sure you're signing your troop up for that now. All right. Order of the Arrow for Scouts, BSA, and older. It is the Winter Council of Chiefs coming up, the conference at Kalahari. Let's see, it closes December 16th for registration, and it is on January 21st. It is $30 to attend, which includes for the day, which includes lunch, or $85 for youth and adult overnight, which includes the water park. So if you're a member of the Order of the Arrow, don't forget to sign up for that. Is that a question in the comments about, are there day only options available for Klondike? That I am not aware of. You'd need to contact the organizer, which is hopefully in the event. We'll look that up and see if we can get that answer for you while we're on another topic. I'll look it up. All right. Info Minute also includes a Leave No Trace 101 is coming up on January 28th. This is the introductory Leave No Trace to 4-hour. It's for both Scouts BSA and any adult volunteer, including Cub Scout leaders. It's an introduction to what the Leave No Trace ethics are and helps fulfill requirements for some further Leave No Trace training and for some awards. So this is $5 per person, and it is at RSR indoors. I feel it's important to say that because it's January, it's indoors. Info Minute also includes Climb Through the Night. This is a new thing that's coming for venturing, and Scouts BSA who are 14 or older and interested in venturing. This is going to be held at Bolingbrook's Park District indoors. It's a lock-in. They have a climbing wall, and they'll have minute to win it style games. They'll be talking about venturing, volleyball, and movie, and pizza. So it's open to any registered youth that are 14 and up interested in venturing. The cost is $30 for the youth and $20 for adults. It's new. It's exciting. It's going to be held in conjunction with 3 Fires, so there should be some good attendance turnout. There is a Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Awareness event coming up February 11th and 26th. It will be held at Troy Middle School in Plainfield. There will be an adult leader training and resources, limited to 50 per session, one on supporting and recruiting LGBTQ+ scouts and leaders, and then the other on DEI and what does it mean for scouting in Illinois. For Scouts, the Citizenship and Society Merit Badge will be offered, but the Scouts must attend both sessions and complete some prerequisites and homework to finish that Merit Badge out. If you have any questions, we can contact I don't have a contact.
Diversity Committee.
Diversity Committee, thank you, for more information. All right, on to
All right. Our Scout law for this month is friendly. So our quote for this month is, don't wait for people to be friendly. Show them how. Food for thought.
Our adult, not this evening, is the adult religious emblem. So the adult religious emblem is not technically awarded by the BSA. It's awarded by different religious organizations. So, for example, you could be Jewish or Catholic or non-denominational or Lutheran. Each group, or Muslim, each group has their own requirements for how to earn the adult religious emblem. So it is not something that's not something that the BSA awards. The adult religious emblem cannot be, you cannot self-nominate yourself for it. You have to be, no matter which one you're coming from, you have to be nominated by someone else. And usually most of them have components of you're active in scouting, you're active in your religious organization, and you are active elsewhere in your community. When you earn this, it's possible to earn it more than once because you may earn it from different organizations. In that case, you still only wear this one knot. All right, next slide, please. The youth version of this is the youth religious emblem, and it is the purple with the silver on it, the silver knot on it. There is, and this little poster here only shows like 1/3 of what's available. Every different religion has their own version of the religious emblem program. And again, they set the requirements, not BSA. This is one of the few knots that is not set by the BSA. It's set by each of these organizations. So the youth will contact the religious emblem coordinator for council or for your troop, or if you can't find it, it's also online. To find out what the booklet or the requirements are for each of these religious emblems. Usually you can see there are different emblems for different ages. So a scout is reverent. We want to encourage our youth to earn their religious knot, if at all possible. And there are so many out there. If you have trouble finding them, there are volunteers here at Rainbow Council who can help you find which one it is that your youth needs. Any questions? Okay, then on to membership minute.
Melissa.
Hi, everyone. I'm Melissa Rubik, the Vice President for Membership. And in case you didn't know from our last roundtable, we are in the middle of our winter membership drive. So that actually started back on October 4th and goes through the end of this month. Forms are going to be due to participate by the end of by January 20th, and we'll have a drawing at the end of the month. And this is for all new scouts and recruiters. Now, this one, you have to have a new scout name associated with your recruiter, but you can recruit as many scouts as you want, and recruiters can enter as many times as they want. One scout will be awarded a $250 gift card, and then we'll have 19 runner-up prizes with really cool stuff from the scout shop, including sweatshirts, t-shirts, water bottles, drawstring bags, lots of cool things. So I'm going to put the link in the chat. Feel free to contact me if you have any questions, but keep on recruiting through the end of the year. And then don't forget to submit your form with all your new scouts and recruiters from October 4th through December 31st.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Any questions for Melissa? Okay, let's move on. Safety minute, our transportation. So getting to and from scouting events is a risk for all participants and can lead to severe and even fatal accidents that impact the scouting family. Please use the framework shown on the screen. In addition to the safe transportation checklist and pre-trip inspection for all transportations to and from scouting activities. The Scouter Code of Conduct includes, when transporting scouts, I will obey all laws, comply with youth protection guidelines, and follow safe driving practices. General guidelines are as follows. It is essential to have safe and responsible transportation for all scouting activities. When possible, use public carriers, for example, trains, buses, and commercial airlines for group travel. Drivers are expected to follow all applicable traffic laws and not drive if impaired or distracted, for example, texting while driving. All drivers must have a valid driver's license that has not been suspended or revoked, including a commercial driver's license, CDL, when required. Your youth drivers are prohibited, must be 18 years of age or older. Must meet scouting barriers to abuse supervision. Must meet scouting's barrier to abuse supervision requirements, including 2 deep leadership and no one-on-one during transportation. Driving time is limited to a maximum of 10 hours in one 24-hour period, regardless of drivers available. Frequent breaks are required, including rest, food, and recreation. Do not drive when distracted or drowsy. The use of private aviation for transportation is prohibited. Motor vehicles used to transport scouts must complete pre-trip transportation inspection before travel. This includes correcting all deficiencies. All occupants must wear factory-installed seatbelts. This includes the use of appropriate car seats for youth. Transportation of passengers in a pickup or truck bed, recreational camper, or tow trailer is prohibited. See limited exception for parades and hay rides. The use of a 15-passenger vans manufactured before 2005 is prohibited. All vehicles must be covered by automobile liability insurance with limits that meet or exceed the requirements of the state in which the vehicle is licensed. It is recommended, however, that coverage limits are at least $100,000 combined single limit. Any vehicle designed to carry 10 or more passengers should have limit of 1 million. I count my commas there. For insurance information, refer to the insurance section of the Guide to Safe Scouting. When towing the tow vehicle, driver has the knowledge, skill, and abilities to operate the vehicle with the attached unit. Except for council-run ATV programs, all-terrain vehicles, golf carts, light transport vehicles, utility transport vehicles, and side-by-sides are banned from program use. This prohibition includes their use at the unit level. NCAP standard FA 711 provides a standard by which councils and CAMs may use this equipment. For further information, go on to the BSA website, and you should be able to find more information on more detailed and specifics of the different kinds of vehicles for transportation.
All right, so our hot topic this evening is telling your scouting story to local media. So one thing that's really good for your unit is to make sure that you are visible in your community. It's good for scouting. It helps with recruiting. It helps make connections so that you have opportunities for your troop or your pack or your crew. So there's a great guide out this month to help you tell your story, your scouting story, to local media. The first thing is to have a really good story to tell. Have something in your mind that you keep in your head, like this is why scouting is important to me, or this is how scouting has changed lives in our community, or something that's really meaningful to you that you're ready to talk about. Another aspect is to create good visuals. So if you have your story, or if you have something that you're going to talk about, have really good visuals with it. A cell phone is usually more than adequate to take a picture. If you're stealing it off of social media, however, be aware that Facebook downsizes the picture so that the pixels aren't as good, and your newspaper won't be able to use it. So if you're using for local media, have a really good high resolution cell video or a picture that you can use to give them. If it's really captured and really engaging, then it's much more likely to be used in the media. Use strong quotes. Have really good statements. Have something ready from your scouts, like so-and-so said, this was the best adventure of my life, or, it was all fun and games until the mosquitoes came out. Something that's really going to capture people's attention. Hold an interesting event, and I'm going to click on the link, or I can't click on the link.
I'll do it.
The link?
I'll do it.
Thank you. I'm not sharing it. And we can share this document with everybody else because it has more detail. Can you scroll down, please?
Can we make it bigger so people can see it?
Yeah.
There we go.
All right, and we're going to share this so you can read it later, but keep going down. Cub Scout. So one of the things about scouting, that the events are routine for us, but they can be really fascinating for the community because they may not be as familiar with it, like rain gutter regattas, or lashing together towers, or backpacking on a big trip. these things are fairly normal for us as scouts, but they make great news for the local media, and you can share great pictures and great quotes from them. All right. You could also consider farming out a story about being the first to set a local record. It could be, hey, we're the first people to do this trail from here to here, or we are the first in our council to go to this place, or the first to earn in our area to earn all the merit badges, or to earn Eagle. Those are all great ideas to farm out for a story. And then celebrate meaningful anniversaries. Do you know when your pack or your troop started? You could say, this is my 20th anniversary, or my troop's 50th anniversary, or my pack's 100th. You could talk about the tenure of your adult leader who has been with your group for a long time, or your major milestones, or this is the first time our unit has been this big, or we're celebrating Scouting's birthday. People might not know that. So these are all really great ideas that you can contact your local paper, your local reporters. And, we say paper, but they have a huge online component too, and they publish things to social media, and that gets shared. So if you have these great stories, or if you can come up with these great things, contact your local paper, see if they're interested in a story, and help them out. And if you make it really engaging, then they might be more likely to share it. All right. Any questions? Has anyone done that? Has anyone reached out directly to local media to see if they're interested in a story?
I have a question. I tried to do that like a year ago because we had a big event in our troop, and nobody seemed to even get back to me. So my question was going to be, do you have any places that you could recommend? Because I know I tried, several newspapers, but nobody even got back to me.
Okay. So I know in my area there is a reporter who covers Morris, and I have her contact information, and I call her directly when I have something that I think she might like. It's a matter of, if you can find out who's assigned to your area from your local paper and contacting them directly, you're more likely to find something. The other thing you can do is you can try writing a story yourself and submitting it. And sometimes, because they don't have to do any work because it's all written, then they will put it in because it's all ready to go. And then I see in the comments, Carla says, Denise Barron Unland at Joliet Herald News. Awesome.
Thank you.
15, the troop and the pack usually go on WJOL on the radio, at least once a year.
Awesome. Yeah, we've done that too in Morris. We have our local radio station. That's an often underlooked area to get on in the community, because usually a lot of people in the community will listen to the local radio.
We actually get, I think, 2 new recruits just from being on the radio for, 15 minutes.
That's awesome. I love that idea.
There's also 95.9 The River, I believe, does a Friday good news story at lunch. And we had an Eagle project from our troop over the summer. They talked about all day. They talked about how at noon they were going to talk about this kid, and they gave like a 1 sentence about what his project was, and then they talked to him for maybe 15 seconds on the radio at noon. So you can check that out too.
Yeah,
And don't forget, you've got your college local radio as well.
oh yeah. Yeah, these are all good. Let's see, the patch, Steve says the patch is also easy to work with you to write the story and then disperse it electronically. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, because it seems like maybe it's another thing to do and it's a lot of work, but it's a form of recruiting, it's a form of advertising, it's a form of community engagement. And so it's important that we make the effort, because we want to show people we're here, we're scouters, we're scouts, we do awesome stuff. Great.
Moving on.
Yes.
Oh, breakout session.
Very good. Let me create the rooms. Hold on. Create.
Hello and welcome to this month's Roundtable. This month, we'll discuss adult roles in Scouting, where the adults are the volunteers that mentor and guide the Scouts. In addition, adults monitor Scouting activities for safety, as well as perform a variety of supporting administrative tasks. In turn, the youth lead the program. Troop adult volunteers, in general, belong to one of two groups, either the committee or the Scoutmaster Corps. The committee, organized by the committee chair, includes roles of treasurer, secretary, advancement coordinator, chaplain, equipment coordinator, training coordinator, and more as needed. The troop committee is a cross between a board of directors and a parent support group. It sets troop policies and handles administrative functions, which allows the scoutmaster and the assistant scoutmasters to focus on the scouts. The committee does things like approve the yearly budget and calendar, arrange transportation and reservation for outings, coordinate recruiting efforts, develop service projects to benefit the community and the charter organization, and serve on the boards of review. You can refer to the Troop Leader Guidebook for further information and descriptions of committee positions. The Troop Committee Guidebook is also an invaluable resource on how the committee is formed and how it works. The term Scoutmaster originates from the early 1900s term of headmaster, which means simply teacher. The Scoutmaster, along with the assistant Scoutmasters, form the Scoutmaster Corps and work directly with the youth. The Scoutmasters train and guide youth leaders and are responsible for using the methods of scouting to ensure all youth are having a good experience in the program. A Scoutmaster is not the leader of the troop. The youth are the leaders. The Scoutmaster is a teacher, a guide, and a mentor. The committee and the Scoutmaster Corps work closely together and depend on one another to support the youth leadership and the troop's function. It is a full team effort. The final key adult volunteer position is the Charter Organization Representative. The Charter Organization Representative, or COR, is the liaison between the troop and the charter organization. The COR helps the committee stay informed about any requests the chartering organization may have for the service projects and meeting dates. The COR approves the yearly charter and any adult volunteer applications. The Charter Organization Representative also has the authority to remove any adult volunteer that they believe is not conducting themselves in accord with the ideals of scouting, the Scouter's Code of Conduct, or the Charter's own policies. The committee chair, the Scoutmaster, and the Charter Organization Representative together form what is known as the Key Three. The Scoutmaster represents the Scoutmaster Corps, the committee chair represents the committee, and the Charter Organization Representative represents the troop's chartering organization. The Key Three together represent the full troop. All branches of the troop's adult volunteers work together to provide a safe environment for scouts to be mentored in character development, citizenship training, and physical, emotional, and mental fitness. This is no small task, which is why it takes all of the adult volunteers working together in their respective roles to support the youth. Please take some time to discuss the following questions on screen, and thank you for all you do for scouting.
All right, so this is the time where we talk. Hello. So we have a special guest here today too, and I see her in the room. And Maddie Mayfield is here, and she is part of the National Commissioner Service Team. She's our National Roundtable Commissioner. So hi, Maddie, welcome.
Hello, hello. Do you want me to turn my screen on and then it will just be two of us, right?
Yeah, I guess everyone's feeling shy today. Nobody wants to put their cameras on.
We can put our cameras on.
So Maddie's she's a friend of mine, and she just took this new position as a roundtable chair. So I'm super excited that she's here today. So we're going to talk about adult roles in scouting together, and hopefully this isn't like new news for anybody. But sometimes we inherit a troop that has done things a certain way for forever, and we're not really sure if that's the way it's supposed to be done, or if there's a different way. So ideally, this structure that BSA proposes with the Scoutmaster Corps and the committee chair and the charter organization rep. It's like the 3 branches of government. Everybody works together to deliver the program. Each part has its own purpose, and no one part has more power than any other part. They work together. So that's why it's so important that we know what those different roles are, and that we know where we start and where we end in our role in the troop, and that that everybody knows and can work together. So the first question we're supposed to talk about is, what actions can you take to improve your adult volunteers' teamwork? So we have all these different roles. How can we improve our teamwork as adult volunteers in our unit, in our troop?
I think having a regular committee meeting. I think a lot of times, otherwise your voice gets lost and your understanding of what you're supposed to do gets lost, and you think you might not have anything to do if, a lot of parents don't know what to do if they don't know what to do.
Huh? Steve, you look like you want to say something.
No, I don't have anything to add on this one right now. Sorry.
Okay. All right. Have you ever considered doing team building? Go ahead, Stephanie.
Oh, I was just going to say the same thing about the committee, the regular committee meeting, because it just seems like sometimes things get where there become pockets of people who, oh, this person's doing that and this person's doing that. And then there's like 10 different text groups going, addressing different things. And it's like, if we have one committee meeting and, just get one group going and make sure that everybody is on the same page with everything, it makes things easier when we actually follow through and do that. So.
Awesome. Yeah. Making sure everyone knows what's going on. Have you ever considered doing team building activities with your adults? I mean, we do it with the youth because we want to build their teamwork. It works for the adults too. Doing team building activities, and you can be very like, hey, we're going to do this activity, and I know it seems a little silly, but this is what we're teaching the kids, so we're going to practice it first. But it could be as simple as your team building activity is you have your committee meeting at a taco bar. That works too as team building. Any other ideas?
This week, we're actually having an adult-only Christmas party.
Awesome. Awesome. I love it. Yeah, because, forming those relationships with one another, that's what's going to get you through conflict, right? You're much more invested in trying to come with a good solution if you guys all know how to work together, if you're friends, or even if you're not friends, if you at least know how to work together, you're more invested. So consider some sort of team building for your adults. All right, our next question is, how often, this is an interesting question, how often does your committee and Scoutmaster Corps meet to work together to support your troops youth? I'm interested to hear what people say. So first of all, does your committee ever meet with your Scoutmasters? Do they know that they're their own things, committee and Scoutmaster Corps, or are they kind of like mushed together?
Well, it took the Scoutmaster Corps to make the committee start meeting.
There you go.
In our
Okay.
troop. So.
All right. So we have one where it was the Scoutmaster Corps who had to encourage the committee to meet.
Yeah, we got through 2 months right in a row, and now out the window again.
So I've seen units where the Scoutmaster Corps and the committee don't know that they're two separate things. Anyone seen that?
No, we got that down. We know we're separate.
Okay. Anybody else?
Yeah, can I?
Yeah, go Stan.
I think one of for the units that I've been involved with, the committee generally meets on a regular basis, monthly or bi-monthly or something like that. Getting the Scoutmasters to meet separately is a little more challenging because the Scoutmasters tend to think, well, we get together on campouts or we see each other at meetings all the time. So we're you know, and I think this is something that's underused, the idea of getting the Scoutmasters together separate from everything else. And it could be at a taco bar or just a bar. That's a really good draw.
But not in
for-
uniform.
I'm saying if
But
there
not
are
in
adult
uniform.
beverages, it's usually very easy to get the Scoutmaster Corps that I've been dealing with together, but getting the Scoutmasters together separately to just discuss in a relaxed environment the nature of outings and things like that is a really underused thing, you know, because again, oh, we see each other in campouts, we talk about things like campouts, and it's like, well, is it one more night? And I think, you know, when you say a team building activity, I think we really can broaden the idea of what a team building activity is. It isn't necessarily something we have to go to some corporate guidebook and find out, okay, we're going to do these team building activities. It's like anything outside of the meeting.
It's team building. Yeah.
Anything. I mean, anything. Go to a baseball game, go to a bar, get to, you know, just something where you're not being distracted by a scout related activity at the moment is a team building activity, because you're just building the team. It doesn't have to be an exercise created by the Kinsey group or even BSA, just anything.
That's right. That's right. Anything can be a team building. And for
Anything
Scout,
is a team building activity.
right.
It's like anything you're doing outside, and it's good or bad, you know. So it's like, you know what, if there's a group of the Scoutmasters, or the committee for that matter, that are, you know, they always go off after the meeting and get together and talk about things, but not everyone else, well, that's a team building activity as well.
Yep.
But it's not a good team building activity. So again, it's you know, it's one of those kind of things to me that looking at it strategically and saying, hey, this is something we need to do is something that's underused. That's just my opinion.
Yeah. And sometimes
I'm gonna go back in hiding now. So.
it's okay. Sometimes encouraging the Scoutmaster Corps and the committee to meet separately to focus on different things, because remember, the Scoutmasters are delivering the program and the committee is like back end helping with all the background things. Sometimes each meeting separately to focus on their areas and then coming back together as a group to work together as the whole thing can be really helpful. Kevin, you came on camera. Do you have something to add?
Yeah, I was trying to adjust something. To follow along with Stan, that's a great idea. One of the things in our troop we do is we've done it a couple times, but with COVID, it's kind of screwed it up. Is when the Scoutmasters get together, kind of also decide and discuss what role each one will play and what the expectations are within, like, supporting the patrols, and so that we know, you know, Bob is taking care of this and John's taking care of that, so that we all have an idea what our position is. We all know what training is, but we know internally what our roles are.
Yeah. And that segues so nicely to the last question, was what can we do to ensure that all the adult volunteers in our troop know their roles and their responsibilities for their respective positions? So, because that causes a lot of conflict, right? When people don't say, hey, that's my job. Oh, you can't be dealing with that. That's my job. Or I didn't know it was my job. What can we do to help with that?
Training, and maybe training during team building too.
Yeah. Training for sure helps.
You know, regarding training, there is no continuing ed training for any of these positions. So having that chat, the discussions, coming to Roundtable, attending these type of sessions are a great way to reiterate that, but also just inviting other parents who may be interested in taking a role to come in and understand all the roles, right? If you go to training, we should have an idea of our lanes, but the parents may not understand that. So kind of doing that once a year, scouting 101 type thing to explain it to them, but maybe it's a 102 where we now explain our role. You've been around for a while. Here's the roles of how the adult leaders are playing.
And for those of you that don't know, Kevin is our council training chair. So he knows a thing or two about training. The other thing that I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say Kevin would be happy to do it is if your unit, if your troop needs a refresher course on what some of the roles are in a troop, he'd be happy to be a neutral third party to come out and talk about. Yes.
Yeah, most definitely. We can even do a modified, just come in and recap stuff. It's interesting. A few years ago, I did a Scoutmaster specific course, and even on a Scoutmaster outdoor, I looked at the list and I'm like, oh my God, that person, they've surely been a Scoutmaster forever. Why are they taking the course? And it turned out that I want to relive it and go back through it because there's a lot of stuff that's covered. And sometimes after you get in your job for a while, it's good to go back and walk back through the steps to refresh your mind. So yeah, absolutely reach out to me and at training@rainbowcouncil.org, and we'll start a conversation and figure out what to do to help get us out.
Awesome. What else can we do to make sure everybody understands their role or knows what their responsibilities are? Nobody?
Wait.
I
Thank you.
guess I was.
I'm
Okay.
sorry. Had to unmute
Go ahead,
myself. Thank you. I appreciate it. We years ago, and this is after Baden Powell passed away, our troop was going through the critical leadership, got trained in wood badge, and we came back with I guess after getting struck by the patrol method, we wanted our troop to go the same route. We had a problem convincing parents that we needed 4 stoves because we had 4 patrols, because the parents didn't understand why the kids couldn't take turns on the stoves. So we invited the parents to come along to the outing to see things. And after the first meal took 3.5 hours for 4 patrols, they understood. Well, I mean, this patrol didn't clean it, this patrol didn't have this, fill in the blanks. But the bad part was the people didn't want to learn, didn't show up for the outing. The good part was that the people that wanted to learn showed up and stayed for possibly 2 meals, but not the overnight. But at least they learned, they learned that 4 patrols need 4 stoves, 4 patrols need X amount of tents, fill in the blank. So we had an easier time fundraising because parents understood not necessarily their roles, but why the Scoutmaster Corps was asking for so much.
Awesome. Okay. So experience.
Yes.
All right. Stephanie, Stephanie, did you have something you wanted to add?
I was just going to say, I think everything that we've mentioned so far will contribute to it, because when people know, when you have the meetings, then you have minutes, right? And so then it's written down what everybody is supposed to be doing or taking part in. So then you can go back and say, oh, Stephanie said she was bringing, the bowl and the whisk to the pancake breakfast, or, whatever it may be.
Right.
So by having those minutes and being able to refer back to them, that's really nice. And then too, like you said, with the team building, if you have those relationships where you do have a familiarity with someone and you're more comfortable talking to them, that also makes it easier for, we're talking about experience. Well, a lot of us have been in this for quite some time. And so it can be kind of intimidating to new parents or new leadership to come in because there's already these established relationships and things. So if we have those kind of team building things, then people can kind of learn, oh, that's that person's job. Oh, that's that person's job. Where do I fit into this mix? And how can I become a part of it?
Yeah, that's a good point. Because we might be very comfortable and familiar, but we have to remember not everybody is, and it can be very intimidating and overwhelming. The other thing to think about, along with writing down the minutes, is writing down the roles, like job descriptions for your adult positions. So if you've got Scoutmaster and ASM, and if you've got committee chair, and if you've got treasurer, write down exactly what each one is responsible for. So that way later, if there's a conflict, you can say, hey, you know, this is our group understanding of this was this person's role and this is this person's role, so that there's less arguing over, oh, I thought you had it, or I thought I had it. You know, that can help alleviate. Being very clear about what everyone's roles are can help alleviate a lot of conflict in the long run.
And I do also think that would help out when like the people are leaving and somebody else is coming into the role. They know exactly what they're getting into too.
Yes, 100%. Yes. Because how are you going to invite someone new into a role and then expect them to know where their lines are? Where am I supposed to be doing? You might tell me I'm treasurer, but does that mean I am cutting the checks myself for this? Or is the scoutmaster cutting the checks for this? You know, those things are little, but in the long run, they're huge. They're the things we argue about the most. So just having it written down can be really helpful. Any other questions or comments or concerns? Okay, so this is the part of the meeting now where if you have any questions, doesn't have to be about the topic, any questions at all about Rainbow or scouting in general, I will try my best to answer them. And if I cannot, I will find someone who can. Anything? So she's looking for Sunday meeting place ideas. And so I know American Legions. If you haven't contacted an American Legion lately, they have all been instructed to be very helpful to scouting and will most likely be able to accommodate you if they can. But what else? Sunday evening, anyone got ideas?
What area is she from?
Brenda, what area are you from?
Plainfield.
Plainfield.
Maybe a VFW hall. Sunday, kind of open there.
I'm not as familiar with Plainfield, so I'm not as sure there. I know here a bunch of, and I live in Morris, so we have a bunch of halls for like Moose and Legion and VFW and Eagles, and they all let their space be used.
Right now, we're meeting at the Plainfield Township
Okay.
Community Center, but it's like $90 a night for us to rent, and it's just going to be expensive.
Have you contacted the YMCA?
Yeah, our committee chair contacted them, and I guess there's conflicts and issues of, I don't know, not being able to do it like every Sunday night.
Okay.
I don't know. During the summer, we normally meet at a local park, which, you know, that is cost effective because it doesn't cost us anything. But during the winter, that's kind of hard to do.
Kevin's in chat. He says park district, subdivision common areas. Oh, that's a good one. Like if someone lives in a subdivision that has a party house, like a common area house. That's a good idea.
Yeah, I couldn't remember the word, so that's why I said
Have you reached out to well, because it's schools, so that would be hard. You'd have to have an in, someone with an in at a school.
Because it's on Sunday nights, we have to pay for janitors to come in.
I see.
So that, I mean, that's part of the issue is like, if it was on like a weeknight, they would probably waive the fees for us, but because it's on a Sunday night, they have to pay for the people to come in and let us in and do the cleanup and all that.
Might have to consider doing a different night. Unfortunately. Or at least during the winter when you need a space. Well, we'll keep brainstorming, and if we can post them on the social media page, maybe we'll start a list of potential meeting place ideas for our areas. And that might be helpful for everybody. I wish I had an easy answer. Any other questions? Stan?
Yeah, I just, one other thing I wanted to kind of follow up on the question about the Religious Emblem Awards for adults. One of the things about the religious emblem, and Angie said it, you can't self-nominate yourself. So it's one of those kind of deals that if you feel I should get a religious emblem award, you probably shouldn't. But you can't self-nominate yourself. Okay, so rule that out. But you all, if you are in a religious tradition, can nominate somebody from within your own religious tradition. Okay, and this is my point. So if you go to a Catholic church or a Lutheran church or Baptist church or whatever church it is, and there is somebody in your unit, in your church, who is active in the scouting program, and he or she is both active in the scouting program and active within your religious tradition, such that they exemplify the best ideals of both, then you can't, that's how an adult gets the religious emblem award. Okay, you all look around your church and say, hey, that woman or that man or that person really exemplifies the ideals of both our religious tradition and the Scouts. I'm going to identify or recommend him or her for whatever the particular religious emblem award is. So when you think about the religious emblem award, don't think about what do I need to do. Think about who do you know in your church. And again, the best way is that somebody in your church, like you go to, and again, whatever the church is, you go to this church and there's somebody else in there. And it really, it doesn't even, again, it doesn't have to be somebody in our own council, because it could be just anybody in the Scouts.
Yeah.
And this is how you get this is how an adult gets the religious emblem award. Somebody else looks at what he or she is doing and says, that person is worthy of this particular honor. And if you need the details about whatever, say if you're a Lutheran or you're a Catholic or whatever, just you contact one, you contact me, I'll get you in touch with the person, or contact someone and say, hey, what do I need to do? And then we'll get or you could probably Google it, find out what you need to do. But it's just kind of a suggestion to say, rather than just say, oh, well, I'll never get it, just look around and say, because you don't have to exemplify the best. It's the person you're nominating that does. So, you don't have to be a shining exemplar, but if somebody else is in your church, then that's the person that you nominate. So I just wanted to throw that out.
Absolutely, that's right. If you are able to nominate those people, because adults do well with recognition just as the youth do. And it helps everyone to know that they are doing a good job. So we want to try and make sure that we're recognizing everyone. All right, it is 8:03. I'm going to bump us back to the main room. You're welcome to go, and I'll see you next month. But if you have something else that you'd like to talk about, feel free to stay on in the main room.